Hello, I'm Shyboy616, and welcome to the third and final part of my Japan travel diary. And in this part, we're going to be looking at everything we did in Osaka, and this was also our last day in Japan before heading home. So shout out to our tour director, Alessio, if you're watching this, you were great. You did a lot for us. Thanks a bunch. You made the trip fun. We also really appreciated that little goodie bag at the end. But a big thing I wanted to shout out here, when we were leaving for Osaka, originally it was going to be like 10 in the morning, and it was like about an hour or so drive, I think, from Kyoto. And we had talked about a few days prior about, it's like, hey, is there potential to leave earlier so that way everyone has more time in Osaka? Because for us and a few other people, we were hoping to get to Universal Studios a little sooner. And he was able to work that out for us. Obviously, we couldn't get there in time when the place opened, so it's not like on him, bus driver or anything like that. But we did get there earlier, and everybody did get more time in Osaka, so it wasn't as rushed as some of these other days were for those smaller stops. So yeah, our last day in Japan, we didn't really get to experience a lot of the, cultural stuff. We did set that day to be when we went to Universal, because Blanca and I really wanted to go to Nintendo World.
So, how do you feel?
Excited, but a little sad. Trips in the States. It's a day in Japan. We're going to Universal.
We're on our way to Universal Studios. We're on public transportation. We would have taken a taxi, but it was more expensive than this. We have like a 30 more minute, no, probably less than that. Yeah.
Something I thought was really cool about the stop, something I thought was really cool about the train we took to Universal was that it actually goes right there, and it's even called, like, I can't remember if it was Universal Town or Universal City. And where it stops here, there's a bunch of shops and restaurants leading up to the park, as well as all the different hotels you could stay at. And the stop ends right there, like the stairs you're taking up to get out of the train, it's straight into Universal. It's pretty cool. Even the little attractions leading up to it, they keep in the Universal theme. There's even a Universal store. We didn't look at it, but from what we saw on the way back, it looked like it was selling all of the stuff you could find in the park, which was interesting. But even like the Lawson, the 7-Eleven, they had some more character merchandise related to what you could find in Universal. So we got there, we had the excitement of getting to be there. We did have express passes to ensure that we could make it into Nintendo World instead of waiting that day of and getting those timed passes. So it did end up costing more, but this was because we knew ahead of time, it's like, we're probably not going to get there when it opens, and we don't know what the odds are that it's not going to be too packed to where it's going to be hard for us to get those time passes. So this was to avoid all that headache.
Roro fish, check that out.
Look, Roro, that's for you right there.
Finally made it over here. Gotta go in for real. We made it. We even got the little bands already scanned in. You already know I had to use my YouTube name as my player name. Look at that. Where do we even start?
So of course we headed straight for Nintendo, and it was really cool. It looks just as nice as we had seen in the pictures. It was very clean too. There wasn't just trash scattered anywhere. I think the only not so pleasant thing was the people sitting around in the entrance, and what we figured out later, these are probably people waiting on their reservations. The first thing we did was, because of the time slot we had a choice of one of the rides they had there. One of them is the Yoshi ride that goes around the whole park and you can get a view from up top of everything. Or there was an indoor one that is a Mario Kart track. So we chose that one when we were buying the express passes. And it's very nicely decorated on the way to the actual ride, so you at least have something to look at while you're waiting in line. Luckily, because we had these express passes, we didn't have to wait that long. And it was really cool. It's decorated like Bowser's castle, so you see all of his stuff, and it's even got a little factory area where you can see it like, crafting his bombs and little robot trinkets, things like that. I can't think of what those were called, but it was really cool. They have little animations, little statues everywhere. It's a lot of fun to look at. And then the room right before you get to the line for the actual ride, there is a tutorial area where there's a TV up telling you how the headset and the game part is going to work. So they give out these little headsets that we put on, and then once we're getting to the actual ride, there's a visor we snap on to that. And with that visor, it's a partial VR type thing going on. Inside the visor, what you see are coins to collect and characters you can shoot at with the controls on the wheel. And what it fires is a shell. So you see the shell flying out from wherever you are, and it's based on where you are looking. So I did sneak in a little body cam so I could get some footage of the actual ride. What you don't see is just those little characters, obviously, because I didn't have it up here in the visor. But a lot of the actual things you're looking at are actually there, whether it's a statue or a projector inside the track.
Okay. Oh, you can see your little score down here if you look down. My head is a little heavy. that's you on there. Damn, highest is 344. Someone got close earlier.
And what's fun about this experience is that you're trying to see if you can get the highest score. And all the while is, I didn't mention it in the beginning, but we did get those bracelets where you can join your team based on which one you picked, and it loads up with the app. And some of this score can actually add on to which team you picked. So I chose Mario, Blanca chose Peach. So any points I got would go to Team Mario, any points you got would go to Team Peach. And it was pretty cool because it looks like it saves your progress. So in the event we do go back, and maybe it's possible that it syncs over if we were to go to one in the US instead. So that was pretty cool to see that it actually saves your progress in the event you return to the park. So that ride was very fun. It was nice doing that one because it was inside and air conditioned, and the interactive aspect was pretty cool. After that, we walked around, we explored, we hit some of the question blocks, and we went to go check out the restaurant because, like, okay, let's see if we can get in, because it was getting close to lunchtime. So I was like, okay, maybe there's some seats. And that was our big disappointment. We couldn't get into the Toadstool Cafe because you needed reservations, and the next one wouldn't be until 4 o'clock. And as we realized, they also track you being in the park, and that's probably why all those people were sitting there in the entrance area we had passed before, because they were probably waiting for the reservations. We're like, we're not trying to waste our day in Japan sitting around Mario World. Because even if we really wanted to get on the other ride, it was like a 1.5 or 2 hour wait almost. And there was just tons of lines for all the little games you could do to try to get all the stamps and stuff for Mario World. And like, we kind of don't care to do all that. So we walked around, saw all the different things they had up. We played one of the games. Well, actually, we played 2. One of them was a matching block game, so you try to get them all to match, like, you know, when you're trying to get the bonus power-ups in Mario. And we were in the line, we watched a few people kind of, I think it was like one adult, one kid we saw match it, everyone else was like super close. And the staff here are very friendly. Like, they were very good at like cheering you on in these little games because they had to watch them, and we could even see they were very friendly with the kids there. They're helping them out a lot, being sure they had a good time. Next one we did was this weird indoor thing where it was all on a screen. I didn't quite get it. I guess we were supposed to match the block a certain way to break them all to keep avalanche coming down. I don't know. It was a weird game. It didn't help that we had this little kid just kind of like mashing everything. It didn't really matter to us. We just wanted to at least do one other thing before we went to go get food.
I don't get what we're doing. I don't get what's happening. I don't even know what's happening.
And so we ended up at the Yoshi's Snack Cafe, which there is where you can get the cups if you want those, the fire flower cup, mushroom. We just went with the fire flower one because that one was cool looking, honestly. And I didn't really feel the need for us to each have one because I was looking around, I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna put all the crap I already bought.
Alright, we just got from the Yoshi's Snack place. We couldn't get into the restaurant, sadly, so this is making up for it. We got the drink cup, and we both got melon soda, but I just got the regular, I didn't get a cup. And we got this yakisoba and cheese calzone. That's gonna be exciting. In case you don't know, yakisoba is the fried noodles. What do you think?
That is good.
Yeah, it's really tasty. The bread on the outside is pretty good too.
So then after that, we took a look, it's like, okay, our passes can get us these rides too. I don't care for rides though, but one of them was actually something it's like, okay, that might be kind of cool. It was a boat ride for Jaws. And I was like, okay, we'll do that one. That one sounds more up my alley. But on the way there, we passed Jurassic Park.
Small child me would be so hype right now. I'd probably be so annoying.
And I'm gonna be honest, the Jurassic Park area was kind of disappointing. if you want to do that roller coaster that flies over, it's like the pterodactyl scream or something like that. It's like, okay, good for you. But that's just like the only thing there. There is a restaurant that's sort of themed, but it didn't look very good. Like, well, it didn't look bad, but it wasn't interesting or anything, and it looked overpriced. And the big thing they had going on was there was a One Piece collaboration going on, so there's a food stand for that. And I don't know if there's like a restaurant that had set for this, or if it was part of Jurassic Park and they were using it around this time to do more One Piece themed foods and drinks. So we just walked around to see all the decorations they had up. And then the actual merchandise, I was kind of disappointed in because a lot of it was just Jurassic World. I was hoping to see more stuff that said Jurassic Park on it instead. But some of it was pretty cool. There was a lot of the branded dinosaurs and stuff, but then there's a lot of just random stuff that wasn't necessarily Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. It was just, here's some dinosaur things we have on sale. So it was a little underwhelming, but I'm sure if I had gone there when I was little and I was still obsessed with dinosaurs, I would have loved it. So I was still a little excited for that reason. After leaving there, we went for the Jaws area, and this place was pretty fun too. I honestly don't even like Jaws that much. Like, even though I have the whole Sharks Week thing that I do on here, I don't even care for shark movies like that. I just thought it was like fun videos to make. So I, of course, wanted to get my picture with the Jaws statue they had hanging up. That was pretty cool. And we were here, of course, for the ride, which I also wasn't supposed to record, but I had that little camera on me.
So we got express passes for 4 things, but we're only able to do 2.
Yeah. So we chose the Jaws ride.
But that's okay. It's hot.
Yeah.
Very hot. I don't think it's as busy as people like say it is. I mean, I don't think it's as busy as like peak season would be though. Yeah.
Okay, that's I got splashed a little bit, yeah. Put the bag closer to you. Yeah. Dragonfly gets jump scared. Dragonfly gets jump scared. こっちの左側にある高温電流ケーブル、あれだけ気をつけて。もう一度待ってそうだ。皆さん、もっといい考えになります。今度こそ私に任せてください。さあ。あ、すごい。どうですか? I like that she's even got a little shotgun. I like that she's been carrying a little shotgun. Oh, it jumped back out a little. 社長、聞いてください。IT6 はもちろんで MD。なんだはい、やってました。やった。勇気ある
nice Universal treat. We got the Jaws Blue Hawaiian Splash. I don't know exactly what Blue Hawaiian is, but I guess one of their favorite summery flavors. Got some sprinkles, little jelly here.
Little stars.
It looks very refreshing, so I'm excited to have
I need this after. Oh, it's a really long gummy. I'm gonna just leave it in there.
Yeah.
All right, cheers. Look at the shark.
Oh, there's jellies in there. It's like a lemonade thing, I guess.
It's very refreshing.
No, I really like that. And the cup is cool too.
Shark.
Shark's Leap.
Look, Brian, it's your kinds of people. We're leaving Universal.
It was so hot. I mean, it was fun, the stuff we got to do, but it was just really hot. Do not come in the summer.
Do not come in the summer.
And then we just decided to leave after that because it was just so hot. It's like we wanted to explore more, but it was not comfortable there, and we had spent a pretty good amount of time there already. Obviously, if we had the time and everything, we would have loved to spend the whole day here. But because of the weather and wanting to at least explore Osaka a little bit, we decided to leave a little earlier. And the time we had left, it was maybe like an hour and a half, maybe almost 2 hours off if we had decided to keep that 4 o'clock reservation for the restaurant. So I was like, okay, yeah, we definitely weren't making that. That's not cool. I think we were there for about 4 hours. We took the train back to the hotel, had a little snack, did some organizing because of all the stuff we had just bought. One of the things I ended up grabbing from the Nintendo gift shop was this cookie jar where you take this off. It's a little small spot. There was some cookies and a little bag of caramel corn in there, which while we were at Universal, it smelled really sweet in the areas they had the popcorn stands because of the caramel corn. But he can also do this. So yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, this is going in my candy bowl when I get home. And because the time was like, okay, it's still like afternoon, our dinner's not till this time, let's just go to this one area. I was still hoping to find an anime figure, so I wanted to explore this one area that had tons of shops for that. And the area we went to was called Nipponbashi Denden Town. After Universal, we have like nothing recorded, so now you're just gonna be looking at me the rest of the video. So we took the train that way, and we actually got a little lost getting on the train because it was interesting. It was 2 tracks on top of each other, so you had to get on the right floor for the right train, and it was kind of confusing walking our way through because we walked around, went up and down. It's like, wait a minute, we ended up back where we started almost, so we went back, went around. It's like we passed the thing we were supposed to get up to the train we needed. So we walked in, went all the way around. It's like, this is still the same train. We go back, it's like, oh, those little stairs we passed, that takes us to the train we need. So we finally went up there, got in line, and we just waited for our train to show up, and then we got to go down to Denden Town. And the train actually took us right there. We come out of the subway and we're on the road. And this one's a lot like Akihabara. It was just not as vibrant, I guess. It was also fairly late. It was closer to evening when we got here. This was probably the trashiest area we went to. Like, they had spots on the sidewalks where they had all their trash, I guess, for pickup, but it wasn't like it was like littered everywhere. It wasn't anything bad. There was tons of shops here, a lot of used ones. We went into just about every one because, again, it was much like Akihabara. You could go down both sides, like every shop. We found another mandarake. That's actually where I grabbed a manga to a series I really like, more as a shelf piece, but I do have this little translator thing. If I wanted to try to read it, I could. It does work, but I got it more as a shelf piece, and it was way cheaper than trying to order online. I think the equivalent that I got it for was like roughly $1 here, whereas if I ordered online, they were probably going to try to ask for 20 for the one book. So that was pretty cool. And that was the one time we got to use the translator on Blanca's phone, because she has the flip. You can use that outside screen to like show the translation what you're saying to the other person. And we had to ask them, say, hey, can you look up if y'all got this? And it was pretty cool. It worked. We saw another Surugaya there, and then a bunch of other shops that we hadn't seen before, but we're just really similar to stuff in Akihabara once again. And I got lucky, and I did end up finding a figure I wanted. And one for a series I didn't think I'd find one for. Another. This was a series I thought was like kind of not as popular, so I didn't even think there really were figures. So I thought it was pretty cool that they had one at first, so I got it. And when I looked it up online later, I got it for way cheaper than if I had tried ordering online, so good find. But this was also the moment when we spent the last of our yen, and I kind of freaked out about it. And it's like, wait, we don't even have any to load onto our Suica card so we can take the train back, because the train was like 15 minutes to get here. To our hotel, it was a 40-minute walk. And it's like, well, we don't really want to withdraw any more money just so we can take the train back. Because we had enough on one of ours, but not the other, because we tried to say, okay, I have this, and it's like, we couldn't split it. And it's like, okay, that's annoying. So I had this extra money on this card, but only one of us would be able to go get on the train. It's like, okay, we'll just suck it up and take the 40-minute walk. Which wouldn't have been so bad. Like, I mean, it was dark already and everything, but it still feels hot. And it was because of this we actually missed our farewell dinner. We were also thinking, it's like, okay, we need to go find food too, and hopefully it's cheap so we can just use either what's on our Suica or we'll just use one of our credit cards. And then as we're getting pretty close to the hotel, we passed one and like, it's like, you know what, we're getting a McDonald's again. But I did get something different. She got the chicken sandwich. I got they call it the Loco Moco burger, but it's a little burger and it's got an egg patty on there, you know, kind of like how they do like for the breakfast sandwiches. Because I guess that dish, the way it's like the Salisbury steak, the hamburger steak, you know, the egg and some rice. So they just stuck the egg on there. And it was pretty good. And again, like the meals there are really cheap. Even the specialty burgers like that were limited time items, still really cheap. Well, that was of course my last melon fanto while in Japan. And then we made it back to our hotel after getting lost for a second because the map didn't tell us when to turn. We don't know how we did that. We accidentally walked past our hotel and then went back to it. Just before doing so though, there was a 7-Eleven right there and we grabbed our last few things using up the money that was still on our Suicas to get some stuff for the morning for breakfast. So here's a look at our last hotel. The toilet here was actually a little different. It actually has the branding of the hotel on it, and we'll say this was probably the strongest water pressure on one of those we got. Similar stuff in here. We actually got one bed this time. And we also got a little fridge and safe in the corner. And there's this annoying little light down here. It's like a motion tracking light, so when you walk past it turns on and then turns off on its own after a while. But this is our last stay in Japan and Osaka. So this was our little surprise treat from our tour guide. He just gave us as a nice little farewell gift. He said it was like little snacks his grandma would give him when he would come to Japan. So we thought that was pretty sweet, but yeah, pretty cool variety of stuff that he gave us. Very excited we get to try some of the Kit Kats without having to open our boxes just yet. And I'm not entirely sure what this one is. Is it a rice cracker thing? But this one looks like it might be little mochis or something, and I'm not sure what these are without opening it. Maybe little mints or something, or just little hard candies, but no. Here's our one last pickup before we get ready to go to the airport and leave Japan. So our last drinks we got were this cafe au lait that we got from 7-Eleven, as you can see. And then I got this coffee literally just because it has Tokyo Ghoul on it. Here's not the character on the back. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, literally bought it just for that. It's probably not even going to be that good because I don't really like black coffee that much. But we found these waffles that we had from the Tokyo Treat Box before, and I was excited to see those in the store. Then the following morning, it was time to go home. We said goodbye to our guide and the few people we saw passing in the lobby, because everyone had different times because they had different flights going different places. For us, we had a layover in South Korea, and that's what we were heading towards. So we had a different tour guide that worked with EF, and he was our guide through the airport. Oh, he was asking me some stuff, and it was just pretty interesting. So this dude was Japanese, and he was asking me stuff about, it's like, oh, so what's it like as American? Where are you from? And then it's like, oh, I'm Texan. He's like, oh, do you have a gun? So I got to tell him, like, oh yeah, I carry one on home. And I even got the cowboy hat, so I got to give him this, like, oh cool, we got the American cowboy. Because I even had my little like tour hat that I've been wearing, and it still kind of was styled like a cowboy hat, so it was like, okay, yeah, I got this, and then I got my dress hat. So I think that was like a little fun for him to like hear that someone actually does that stuff. And then it was talking about, it's like, because he had said he had a trip to America, and he was just amazed how much driving he had to do to go all these different places. And then maybe given the opposite, it's like, wow, we were able to like just walk to stuff in the same amount of time and pass so many things, whereas 15-minute drive back home, it's like, okay, you made it to your destination, here's these things, okay, now you gotta drive over here for something else. It was a fun conversation on the way there. In the airport, in the airport we went to, I think it was the Haneda airport, if I'm correct. And there's a bridge we have to cross, which it turns out it's like making that commute is actually fairly expensive because you have to pay for that. And he was talking about how apparently companies don't always cover it, so the fact that we were doing this through them was pretty nice, so we didn't have to worry about that. And it's just an airport that's on its own island. So we got there and there was going to be some wait. He got us through the checkpoint and everything, like where they check your tickets, check your bags, and then we were just on our own waiting at the gate.
Last snack while we're in Japan. Got this energy drink again, waffle. Like I just got water, she was being basic. So we just did a little survey and this girl that works here asking about our whole trip, like how much we spent, what stuff we liked, what we were checking out. And this is just our little thank you for doing that survey. So that's kind of cool. A little bonus souvenir.
And this actual flight was, I think, a little under 2 hours or something around that. So it wasn't that bad. We got to South Korea, we went through, and we found our gate fairly quick. And this place was pretty huge, so we walked around it for a little while to waste time because we were there for 5 hours. So we got there, it was all bright and sunny. By the time we were leaving South Korea, it was sunset. While there, we did get to try a Mexican restaurant there, so it was pretty cool getting to see the Korean take on Mexican food. It was actually really good. It was interesting being in that airport because, like, yeah, we're right there, it's another Asian country. It just felt so different. Like, they weren't rude or anything, but the staff that we did bump into were not as friendly or anything like that. It was a very different feel. It's very, like, I guess, sophisticated almost. I don't know how to explain it. It was just very different feeling than with the Japanese. And then after all the waiting, forced walking around because we did that to try to waste time. We still had several hours to waste. It's finally time to get on our plane for our 11-hour flight to California. Which that flight, yeah, it was a little rough. I watched 2 movies, and then the rest of the flight, it was kind of like on the way there. Not very comfortable. I was trying to force myself to fall asleep. Kind of couldn't. Didn't help we had this kid behind us. We think he was special, but it was still, you know, distracting. And he kept shouting the same things. We don't know what it was because we're pretty sure it was Chinese, but he kept saying the same few phrases over and over. And it's like, oh. And I wasn't experiencing it. Apparently Blanca was getting her seat kicked by him too, so that was a little rough. We finally made it to California, and the time it took us to get through all the security checkpoints and baggage and all that, we got right to the gate just with a few minutes to spare before boarding, so that was actually pretty nice. But at the gate, I did get stopped because they were trying to figure out what the hell was in my bag. I had gotten a thing of Blu-rays there, again, to be a shelf piece when I got home, and they were trying to take a look at that. It's like, okay, we're just gonna take those out and pass the bag through. And for a second, I was like, are y'all really about to take my freaking Blu-rays of all things in the world? But no, thankfully they didn't, but it did take some time because there were so many people coming through to get my bag through and then repack it so I can make my way to the gate. So that was a funny experience because we even looked at the little picture. It's like, what are you seeing that we don't? Like, we could even see the spring on freaking Mario. And I guess that wasn't the concern, so I don't know. It was weird. And then our final flight to actually get us home. It actually ended up being earlier than we had originally thought, because we thought we were going to be spending an hour or 2 in California before our flight. But no, we landed, went through everything, time to board. We actually made it home about nearly 2 hours earlier than we were supposed to. Like, when we landed from that flight home, which I did watch one more, we landed and the pilot said, it's like, we made it early. I was like, wow, that was crazy, honestly. We didn't think that was going to happen, especially with our delay on the way to Japan. So it was nice that the way home was fast. Got home, it was late. We went straight to bed. And that is the conclusion of our trip to Japan. It was a lot of fun. It's now been a little over a month since we had gone. That I'm recording this, like a month from me recording this, we were in Tokyo or on our way to Kyoto. My wife was saying a lot, we really miss Japan. Like, we miss the way it was there, the way, like, getting to walk around, the way we were shopping. The food, I think, is what we miss the most, because we have had a few experiences since being home. It's like, ooh, I feel a little full. It's like a little bubbly, you know? We never experienced that in Japan, even eating their American food. So just little things like that, the 7-Eleven, we really miss Japanese 7-Eleven and just their convenience stores in general. But it was a very fun experience. If you are able to, I would absolutely recommend it. We're really hoping to go back one day. It was a great time. Ultimate Break is a great option to consider if you're wanting to go, especially if I think the age bracket is like 18 to 35. It was a great time. Really miss it. I think about it fairly often, so I'm really glad I got to make these vlogs so I can go take a look at least parts of it and then show it off to people that are curious. And to conclude, before I do my whole goodbye, I do have 2 other channels. Shyboy 616 Plays, where I do a lot of video game plays, and that's also where I upload my streams from Twitch, which is also on Shyboy 616. And then I have Shyboy 616 Eats, where lately I've been doing the monthly subscription of Tokyo Treat, a Japanese snack box. So I still get a taste of Japan now that I'm back home. And I'm not working on it just yet, but hopefully soon I'll have a video going up on Eats that's going to be about everything I ate and drank in Japan, so be keeping an eye out for that, as well as just going back each month for the snack boxes. If you enjoyed what you saw, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video. I'm Shyboy616, and I will see you next time.
See you next time.